They got us trapped. This look all oily and greasy. They got us trapped. It's sunny. Sun is beaming. Sun is blazing. The system got us trapped. They got us trapped in the system trying to escape. System got us trapped. And I'm not even talking about any conspiracy type thing because we can see it for ourselves. Ooh, big boy, big boy. Pochette. They got us trapped. They got us trapped. The system got us trapped. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Let the algorithm kick in. Ooh, that Porsche look good. I forgot. What's that? Porsche Carrera? Porsche Carrera? 911 or one of them. Looking good, though. But coming on here talking about how the system got us trapped because it's interesting, right? Especially with some companies. You have cost of living will go up and stuff like that. So then they probably start seeing a large amount of people looking for another job, which I don't. If you got a job right now, I don't know. Maybe do what you got to do, right? It's not financial advice. I'm not your fiduciary, not your trustee, not like that. But just want to come on here, chop it up, talk about the system and how the system can basically is basically controlling our lives, right? And we as what they call it, we're not exactly. So it don't get me wrong if you hear me saying that. So we're not sophisticated, right? So we're not accredited investors. We're not institutional investors. We're not basically we're not accredited investors. So working a job, sometimes you have to work two jobs. Um, Working a job, sometimes you have to find a part-time job, and the system just have us working, thinking that we're making money, thinking that we're going to be able to get by, but at the same time, we get hit with cost of living, inflation. So us as consumers, and we have that consumer mindset, so we continue, no matter what, right? We continue to consume, even though it's not even in the liking for us to go ahead and consume. We continue to consume, especially on the weekends, right? You get paid, get your money, you go out shopping, you go to restaurants, such and such. You enjoy supposedly disposable income, and when you look at it, it's not disposable income because if you're not taking care of your bills, if you're not taking care of what you got to do, and you get hit with an emergency, then what you end up using is credit, and then high interest rates. You become more in debt than what you was before that, right? So shout out to everybody who's on here. Thank you for being on the live. I'm talking about the system. I'm talking about how it feels like. I don't know if you ever seen that movie Groundhog Day. How it feels like Groundhog Day. You go into work, you get paid, you take care of your bills and stuff like that. But at the same time, you're helping the system survive because you're going out and consuming, right? So instead of stacking and try to become like accredited investors and try to invest in ourselves, what we tend to find ourselves doing is consuming. And we're consuming products that's not even getting us anywhere. Sometimes we just even buying stuff, right? Buy a whole bunch of stuff, and 3 4 months come by, now you're looking for storage or something like that in order to put those stuff away. So you got to watch the system. The system really is going against us. It got us trapped. And I'm saying this because, all right, you working a job, right? And you're making ends meet, you're paying your bills, you have disposable income, extra money to spend, then you get a raise, right? So you think everything is okay, all right, I got a raise, everything I'm dealing with what I'm supposed to be doing, right? You get a raise, but then all of a sudden prices go up. Prices on things go up, right? So what do we do then? Go to school, work, move to another country. Oh, what's going on, Omen? Omni Man, what's going on? Titus, what's going on? It is itching. Is it itchy being black? Yeah, I guess it's itchy being black. Why you see me scratching my head? He is itchy being black. Um, Especially black people in today's economy, you face with a lot more. But I'm not even talking about that because I'm talking about the economy as a whole. I'm talking about the regular class people who are not what they would say they are not sophisticated because you're not accredited investors. You're consumers. Even if you're investing in trading, you're not an investor. You're not an accredited investor because you're doing trading and investing on the retail side. So you're not even getting the company or the stocks or the initial offering, IPO's initial offering at a good price because you're not accredited investors. So what that do, that hit us because we're not knowledgeable of how the right ways of investing. So instead of investing, what we're doing, we're consuming. We don't know how to become accredited investor. They get investors. So what they call us, we're non-sophisticated. And look it up because it's out there. It's in the SEC. It's all that government stuff. In fact, they're trying to change the rule to make it easier for Americans to become accredited investors and understand more about investing because they're seeing that Americans are losing as a whole a lot more money being consumers. You even losing money to other countries being consumers instead of investors and understanding how to invest. You become an accredited investor, what you get access to, you be able to get into those IPOs in advance. Like if you want here, you know you want to learn more about personal finance, all that stuff. I'm in the beginning stage. So whenever I learn something, I come on here and I talk about it. If I see something that doesn't make sense, I come on here, I talk about it, try to get some comment, right? So we all about learning personal finance, personal literacy, financial literacy, because a lot of us lack financial literacy and therefore we end up being financially literate, making wrong moves. Me for myself, I can be transparent. I made a lot of dumb moves, messed up a lot of money because I wasn't financially literate, right? I, there's some big moves I could have made with just a few $1,000s, but because I'm not financially literate, I end up losing that few $1,000s or end up wasting it by being a consumer and purchasing products and things instead of investing. So the system got it you messed up, right? Because now the system gonna get you because it's gonna get you to a regular norm of life, right? A regular norm of life, but when that norm of life can't happen anymore because cost of living is going up, because the tariff taxes is hitting your pockets, because inflation is going up, because there's not a lot of loans that's going out no more, because funding is cutting back. Government is cutting funding, all the funding that was there before to help people out. Like say, for example, my kids went to a summer camp, right? And we didn't have to pay anything because it was funded by the federal government. Part of it was funded by the federal government. Part of it was like private sectors, companies, big companies sponsored it, right? But some of it, like they said, majority of the money was coming from federal funded money. But within the last couple of years now, these funds have been reduced. So we're running out of funds in a lot of these programs that we're used to, right? So then that mental start to hit. This is how the system gets you, right? And I pray that a lot of us be able to control our mental and be able to be emotionally intelligent through these things that we're going to be going through. Because with prices going up, with inflation, cost of living, um, you probably even find yourself even working harder at your job and not exactly getting the correct pay. All that stuff come in here, right? And then the system basically have us be conformed to a regular norm of how we conducting ourselves, you know, have us conform to a regular norm. But when that regular norm is not there and prices go up, when that regular norm is not there and you're looking for extra money in order to fit the bill, what are you going to do? What are people doing? They're doing it now. They're scamming, robbing, thieving, all type of stuff that's not morally correct, right? So this how the system gonna get you, right? Right? Let me see what's going on in the comments. Go to school, work, move to another country. Those are options. I guess those are options to avoid the system or getting caught up in the system. Um, I say for a lot of us that's caught up in the system, what we have to start doing is investing in ourselves and increasing our skill sets. There's a lot of things that's going on with technology. There's a lot of things that's going on with finances. There's a lot of things that's going on with blockchain. So blockchain, finance, technology, AI, all of those things we got to build up our skills in, right? Because it can help us to avoid the system. It can help us from avoid going to a work 9 to 5 each and every day to get paid, basically check to check, living check by check, check to check, having to go out and find different sources of income, having to be away from your family and friends, having to be away from your family in general, to go work another job, work a part-time job, work a second job, exhausted, mind not right because of all the things that's going on around you, not just to mention the workforce and how the system got you, right? So then a lot of us end up starting to do things and get sidetracked into things that's not morally right. So you start to do more crimes. You start to see more scams and crimes. Are you involved? Anybody on here involved in any scams that end up paying out good, or end up end up helping them to avoid being in debt too much? Like, because sometimes people got to do that, right? Because I came across a few people who has been scamming. People been scamming a lot lately. Scams are on a rise. So that's another way how the system gonna get us, right? Have us doing scams, getting caught up in the crime, sending us to jail or prison, and then in jail or prison, your labor is almost 95% cheaper than it would be out in the regular population, right? Out in the open, right? So beware of what the system is doing. Beware of policies. Beware of these companies. Like these companies doing massive layoffs, right? Massive layoffs in order to replace us with different technology. So then that forces people with a higher level of skill sets to basically it starts to be a war at the lower level. So I ain't trying to diss nobody, so whatever. I'm trying to make sense, right? Make sense to make sense. So you have people up here at the skill set, bang, bang, bang. Then you have some skill set down here. You don't need it to be too much up here. But then these people get laid off. So now they're going down here to battle with these people who had lower skill set. So the higher skill set people with the lower skill set is battling for lower skill job or medium skill job, right? So it's going to be a problem within the system because the system is not able to. Well, they actually using this. Because my thing is, with all these layoffs and when we in a shamble, it's always money to be made off of chaos. That's one thing I'm starting to learn through business and finance, right? Even if you get, even if you get, there's always some kind of lesson to be learned or something like that, right? Even if, I don't even want to talk about that. I ain't gonna talk about that. That's something else. Let's get back into finance. um, so the system will have you working a job, a part-time job, and a weekend job in order to fit the bills, in order to survive. But while you're doing that, you're thinking that you're going to be balancing, you're passing living check to check. But then what happens? You get hit with tariffs and you get hit with cost of living. Now, the thing with the tariff is, to me, it's a good and a bad thing, right? So it's a good thing because it can probably bring in some money for some people, right? It also can bring back more jobs and manufacturing and stuff to the U.S. But at the same time, for me, it's a bad thing. For example, maybe some companies out there, they get hit with a tariff tax. What they do now, they increase their costs on their goods and services, even though that's going to help them cover the tariffs. They increase their costs on their goods and services. But some companies are not doing it morally correct. Some companies are price gouging. So they, just because of the reason of tariff and cost of living, what they're doing is they're bringing their prices up higher than what it is, right? Crazy. So I just want to come on here and talk about the system. Um, don't let the system break us. Don't let the system break us. There's a lot of things that's going on in this world. So if you have a job, right, don't go quit your job looking for another job. Find another job first, right? Find another job first before you go looking for another job. Because some of these companies are downsizing. So you might think, okay, I got a better opportunity over here. let me go at this job over here because this job right here was not cutting it. And you probably was at that job for a good amount of time, got a good amount of standing at that certain job. But then you want to go look for another job, get a better paying job, and everything seem all right. Next thing you know, that company is laying off. Happened to a few people, came across a few videos of stuff like that happening online. But it is what it is, man. Don't let the system get you. Don't let the system get you where you messed up your mental, where you want to go robbing and stealing and all type of unnecessary things just to make a living or just to get by. Just to get by. Yeah, man. So let me know what's y'all comment about the system. What y'all think about the system? You know, got it messed up. They teach us certain things in school just to survive, and you come out and you're not the way you're supposed to be. You're not living your dream. And the American dream is actually getting harder and harder to achieve. And a lot of us know the American dream. The American dream is, you know, good job, a house, nice vehicle, and family or something like that, right? But what's happening is the American dream is getting more harder and harder to achieve, and it's a lot of people that want it. Because I'm kind of like, um, I'm involved with like recruiting and hiring and stuff like that. And sometimes when I be interviewing people or talking to people or trying to get people on board to different companies and stuff like that, different platforms, you ask a person, you know, what's your future goals? What's your goals in like the next 5 years or so? You have a lot of people saying, you know, okay, I want to be financially stable. I ain't gonna say financially free because I think financially free is out the window in today's time. But they want to be financially stable in addition to having a house, right? So that was the American dream: house, picket fence, and what, 2.5 kids, 1.5 kids, something like that. But it's not acceptable no more. It's not the way the system, and I don't even want to say like it's a conspiracy or a secret society or anything like that, but the way the system itself, the way this monetary system, the way this financial system, the way that's the whole system as a whole, and it's all connected, how it operates is difficult, right? And I came across some information in regards to trying to be financially stable, right? What are some things that we can do to be financially stable to escape the system and not get too caught up in the system where you're at the age of 77 and you're working a job greeting people, or you're working a job, I don't know, whatever you can work at that age, right? You're supposed to be in retirement, collecting and stuff like that, but instead you might be working. We're trying to avoid that part of the system. We want to have to be able to have our social securities there when we get older, or the generation before us, right? To be, I mean, the generation before us and after us be able to have access to their social security, because that's another thing that's in the shambles. Like there's just so much things that be going on, especially lately over the last 4 or 5 years with the system, the financial system, the financial markets, um, everything as a whole, right? It's been crazy over the last couple of years. Things are really changing up. Things are really changing up, so we got to be aware of it. Got to be aware of what's going on in the system. Don't get caught up in the system where your mental is not there, right? Your mental is not there. And I'll probably come back on another live and let's talk about mental health and wellness, because that's a big thing also. Mental health and wellness. Other than what's going on today's time with the financial system, with tariffs, with cost of living, with all that stuff that's changing up. Mental health and mental wellness is also a big problem. And because of finance, that tends to um contribute to the mental health and stuff. So I'm gonna hop back on another live. I don't have too much people on this live, so I'm about to hop off. Um, Might come back on. We can chop it up about some more stuff like financial freedom, stability, and things like that, right? In addition to mental health is a very important thing that's going on, and it's not addressed more and more. You be like, just check out the news, like one night, just watch the news and see how people mental is, or even just go and do some research on how mental health affects society, or check out some newscasts and see how much things is going. Go on YouTube and check out the amount of violence and crime against people and all type of stuff because of mental health. Like we really got to check ourselves too. So hopefully you got some value out of this. Watch out for the system. Be careful and be aware of the system. Check out congress.gov. Check out the legislature.gov. Check out the whitehouse.gov. Check out what they're doing and just don't get caught up in the system, right? Once again, it's Ansley D. Hope you got some value out of this. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I thank you for being on here. Thank you for your time because your time is one of the most valuable assets that you can have. And you're sharing that time with me. So I appreciate it. Thank you. So with that said, I'll see you guys on the next live. I'll probably do another live probably like around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock or something like that to chop it up about mental health and wellness. This one we was talking about the system and how being caught up in the system. Just don't get caught up in the system being a consumer, right? Use the system to your advantage where you're investing in yourself and become also a business to the point where you can become an accredited investor. That's what I'm working on towards learning to be an accredited investor because the consumer life is not going to work in the next few years. Being just a consumer, we're going to be here. We're just going to be basically like, I don't know if you ever seen that movie Matrix where they basically had humans in a what's that called, like an incubator or something like that, like something where like you put babies, and they basically was getting the energy off of the humans in order to run the system. Interesting. Never thought about it like that. But once again, hope you got some value out of this. I'll talk to you later. Peace.